Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Jedi in Exile. You know what this one is. We're continuing our review of the new series that's come out, Andor. So we've had a free episode premiere. We're now on episode 4. So we're going to have a little chat about that tonight. If you have missed our reviews of 1, 2, or 3, of course you can catch them on the channel. So please do like, subscribe, click the notification bell, do everything you can to support us, guys. We really do appreciate it. So, Matt, talk to me. Episode 4, different kind of episode to what we've had in the first 3. Talk me through your initial overview and thoughts.
I've got one name for you and one name only. Senator Mon Mothma.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
Meow.
Living
Yeah.
the dream. Like, honestly, so kind of... She was obviously a massive part of all of the promo stuff for this series. And I did wonder how far we were going to get before she was in it, bearing in mind that we hadn't even had any cutaways or anything within the first 3 episodes to anything that she was doing. So I'm glad we actually got a proper introduction to the Senator. I think it's interesting, this episode. I know I use that word a lot to describe a lot of things on this channel, but interesting was definitely the way that I would describe it. I saw a lot of people online today who have kind of, again, criticised it for being slow and not a lot happening. I would say, actually, I didn't think this one was slow, especially compared to the build-up that we got over the first 2 episodes of the series. I feel like this one laid a lot of foundations for things that obviously we're going to see in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, you can tell very much so that episode 5 is going to be a banger when they obviously attack the garrison, the unit that's there.
And I thought we also got a really kind of good look at the dynamic, I guess, that's going on behind the scenes, like pulling the strings of what is obviously still quite clearly the early days of the rebellion. I think it was interesting to see with Mon Mothma the dynamic between her and her husband as well, in regards to, that with Bail Organa, when he joins the rebellion, he has essentially the backing of his wife and those people around him, and they all try and do things to, I guess, fight the Empire. His wife's fully aware of everything that goes on with Obi-Wan during the Kenobi series, when they're, I guess, not necessarily fighting the Empire, but definitely doing things that they shouldn't be doing under the Imperial rule. So it was interesting to kind of see what was happening with her husband, in the fact that he's kind of got this don't really care about politics attitude, don't care about people's political beliefs, just kind of interested in having a good time and having people that I find interesting around me. So I thought that was cool. To see Cassian kind of his first sort of introduction to proper rebellion fighters, in regards to he's been put in as part of this kind of insurgency where they're going to fight the
And the amount
garrison.
of prep they've done.
Yeah, and well, she says about how long they've been drilling, right? And that's one of the main issues, is that he's been brought in so late. But I guess this is where we're now going to start to see the real Cassian Andor start to come out a little bit, in that they've said, look, he can fight, he's smart, he can pilot, like he's a perfect kind of perfect candidate for the rebellion, essentially, and that's what we're getting to see. So yeah, interesting episode, I thought, definitely.
Yeah, it gave me the second half of the episode when we saw Mon Mothma and we saw a little bit of Coruscant, which I always love seeing places like that was so key in like the prequels. The episode gave me real bad Hunger Games vibes. So almost like the Coruscant is the capital, everyone enjoying themselves, like the husband with the party, and then you've got the kind of where Cassian is, which is almost like your District 12 and District 13, where they're, the guerrilla warfare. It's interesting because I think it got me thinking when I was watching it. Coruscant, probably not a lot's changed for the people of Coruscant. It's probably the only world that was in the Republic, which, from when the Republic's changed to the Empire, it's probably one of the only planets that things haven't actually changed. Because, yes, I mean, the Jedi have gone, the Jedi Temple is in ruins, but people didn't really know much about the Jedi anyway. It's not like they ventured off into Coruscant constantly. They were seen as these um, religious nuts that stayed in their temple. You know, people said they studied their mysterious force. Like, the Jedi weren't exactly in the underground and in the markets and all that. So I think for the people of Coruscant, probably, and it's quite an affluent planet, like, I don't think a lot would have changed for them. So it's interesting that obviously Mon Mothma, and it'll be interesting to see it going forward. Clearly, they know about the hardship that people on other planets are facing. And it's a really interesting time. I mean, I wonder whether the people of Chandrila, is that how you pronounce where she's?
Chandrilla, yeah.
Chandrila. I wonder if their electric and gas has gone up as much as we have in real life society today. But it's just really struck me that Coruscant, you saw the big Empire logo etched into like a building behind her when she pulled up to the shop where we see Stellan Skarsgård character, and it just got me thinking. Coruscant probably is no different to how it was in the Republic, but every other world in the galaxy
Has been impacted.
has been impacted by it. So she could quite easily, and I think that's demonstrated by her and her husband, that dynamic that life goes on for all of them and they're, you know, still making money. I mean, there was loads of corruption in the old Republic, so it's not like that's like a new thing. Oh, the Empire's come in and there's corruption. So it's interesting to see that. Interesting to see, like, if they stay together, as much as we didn't think there'd be anything romantic in Andor. It's quite interesting, actually, that obviously Mon Mothma says she's being watched as well. So she's got a new driver. She says she's being watched, and you know, Luthen says, well, everybody's being watched, and she says, no, this is different. So yeah, I was really excited when I saw Mon Mothma, and I feel like we've not been disappointed with her so far. I think that's going to be really key to this series. And I enjoyed the episode. I thought the stuff with Cassian, like you say, we're now a third of the way through this series, and I feel like episode 5 and probably 6 is where we're going to go boom. Like, this is incredible, because they're obviously episode 5, the who Cassian's with, the insurgents, they're going to be attacking the dam. There's going to be, potentially we might see the crystals coming across the sky. So it's going to be quite a lot of probably effects, a lot of fighting, and just more of the story going on. So I'm really excited. This one's got me more excited for what's to come, whereas 1, 2, and 3 was like, well, I'm just going to watch them because I know we're building to something. Episode 4 was like, yeah, we are building to something big. So yeah, I actually thought it was a good episode, and it was a good length as well. It was like the ideal length because it was actually like 40 minutes of runtime.
So I think I really enjoyed the fact that there were definitely like the fans will be happy because there were Easter eggs all throughout this episode. A few kind of key ones that I really enjoyed were, so obviously Mon Mothma's from Chandrila, so the Halcyon is from Chandrila, like I was gonna say airlines, it's not, but like that's the like space line or whatever it is, which is the Galactic Star Cruiser hotel at Disney. But in the in Luthen's gallery, for instance, there was Starkiller's Sith hunter armor from The Force Unleashed. Was in there. There was some Mandalorian armor in his shop. It looked like some holocrons as well in the background, a Jedi and a Sith one. So there were some very interesting items within his gallery. So I think maybe we might get a little bit of backstory there, but if not, some awesome kind of nods for fans. One of the really, really key ones, though, that I don't think a lot of people necessarily would have picked up on is Mon Mothma says to her husband, about the trade routes to Gorman being cut off, and in Rebels, when she's talking on the holo projector, she says that the final straw was the fact that the Empire essentially invaded and slaughtered people on Gorman. So they're already kind of
Filoni's grand plan.
sowing those seeds, laying the little trail of breadcrumbs.
Yeah, it's all tying in together.
You know it. The spider's web is getting ever more joined. So I just thought it was really good. And do you know what? I've actually had I've had it summed up really, really nicely by a tweet from the guys at Around the Galaxy podcast, who basically said Kenobi was a great Star Wars story being told. Andor feels like a great story in the Star Wars universe. And I think that is kind of what we said about Rogue One.
What we felt with Rogue One. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that it wasn't a Star Wars movie. It was a great movie in the Star Wars universe. And I feel like they've held true to that. And do you know what? Super excited for the next couple of episodes to see what happens, where we go. I think there's some big things in store over the next 8 episodes until the series comes to an end.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to scores.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we score every episode out of 10. We have gone up 1, 2, and 3. Each have gone up in score. So episode 4, what are you thinking for this one?
I think I'm going to go 8.
I was contemplating an 8. I'm going to go a 7.5 because I feel like if I give this one an 8, as much as I liked it, not a lot did happen, but I like Stellan Skarsgård in the wig and the weird, creepy smile he puts on.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with his character, right? Leading this kind of. So it's very different. It's quite opposite double lives that Mon Mothma and him are leading, in that he quite clearly plays 2 different characters.
Yeah.
And Mon Mothma is like the same person all the way through, but just putting on a fake smile, essentially. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go 7.5.
Okay. So that gives us an average of 7.75, if my maths is correct. So I think, do you know what? We've talked about it before. It's trending in the right direction. It was slow to start. I understand how people could say that this episode was slow, but I actually think that as much as there wasn't tons of action, because we were being introduced to new characters, because we were finding out new stuff about characters that we didn't really know very much about, it was still engaging. I was still watching every minute of it, not finding myself kind of going, oh, when's this going to... it was much more engaging for the audience to watch. So I think 7.75, decent score. Let us know in the comments down below, guys, what you thought of the episode. Were there any major Easter eggs that you spotted that we have missed? Because we would love to hear about them. We're always on the lookout for as many Easter eggs as we can find in these things. So let us know. As always, hit like, hit subscribe, all of that great stuff. As Brian said, we massively appreciate all the support you guys have been showing us so far. And other than that, guys, we will see you all real soon in the next one.
May the force be with you all.